Hi guys, so today I wanted to do a DIY. It's been a really long time since I've done any DIY projects, which is strange for me. I usually do them all the time, but life's gotten in the way, big surprise. So I'm gonna do some art wall type of decor project. So I have 3 canvases over here. One that I've already prepped, 2 that are still in the packaging. So first I'm going to walk you through what I did here, because I did this before because it was taking me a really long time to do. So all I've done is I've marked off, using a little piece of cardboard that I cut from a box, I marked off 2 inches up, 2 inches down, so every 2 inches across, 2 inches up, 2 inches down. This made it so that I could just place this on here with a pencil, draw my lines, and then when I removed my template, I took some painter's tape and just went along the lines to make a nice chevron pattern. I do recommend using the green frog tape instead of the blue painter's tape, only because this doesn't seem to want to stick completely. It'll be okay for this project because I don't care if it's quite perfect, but I would recommend using the frog tape, just so that you know it's gonna stay. So there's that one. I've got a couple of different kinds of acrylic paint here. I've got a couple of different colors. I think I'm going to go with these colors because it kind of goes with the room. So I'm going to use Antique White, Cloudless, Bimini Blue, and Tuscan Teal. To get started, I put down a sheet because it's paint and it's going to be messy and I don't want to make a disaster of my room. So I'm going to angle the camera down now so you guys can see what I'm doing, and let's just get into it.
To start this whole thing off, I'm going to take the lightest color paint I have, which is the Antique White, and I'm just going to paint on the one side of the canvas, making sure to get all of the edges and making sure to not get the little white parts in between the blue tape. We want that to stay white. You'll see later I decided that that wasn't quite the right color for the scheme, so I ended up taking the lightest color blue and mixing it with white and covering it up. Next I went on with the lightest color blue and just painted that the same way I did. Just make sure to push down that blue tape. If you don't, then it's going to bleed all over and it's going to make our cleanup work a little bit later way more difficult. So you're just going to go in with the next color, which is that turquoisey tealy color, and you're going to do the exact same thing, and we're going to finally finish it off with the darkest color. Like I said before, make sure to get the sides while you're at it, and yeah, it's actually really simple and kind of fun to do. You can do this with any color scheme you wanted. I just chose this color because, well, they're my favorites and it goes with the room. So once I'm done with this, I'm going to go ahead and set it off to the side to dry, and it's time to grab the second canvas. I actually think this one is even more fun to do. As you can see, I did pull the tape off the other one that's off to the left. I thought I filmed that, but apparently I didn't. So you're just going to take the paint and you're going to splatter it across this entire canvas. And then you're going to take your paintbrush. I layered up all of my colors on here, and then I just took my paintbrush and swirled it around to make these really fun mix of colors. And then I made sure to make that cover the entire canvas. And I continued to add more paint in little droplets across the canvas over and over again to make sure that I was getting a nice depth of color and to make sure that it was covering everything the way that I wanted it to, including the edges. Don't forget those edges or it's going to be really obvious. This one's really fun to do just because you can swirl it and make it look all these different ways. And if you want darker colors in there, you can use more of the dark. If you want some extra white in there, it's just kind of fun in general. So I just went ahead and did that over and over again until I liked the way that it looked. Once you're done with that, it is time to move on to the third one. This one was a little bit more work to set up. I took strips of painter's tape and put it on an angle and then used a small piece of painter's tape as a marker so that I knew that I was going to get the exact same distance in between each of the pieces of tape. I did this over and over again until the entire board was covered in blue painter's tape on an angle. If you need to, use two pieces in between to make sure that you're getting a straight line across. Then it's time to add some paint. And this was kind of a cool way to do an ombre. I just did strips of different colors of paint and then ended up just painting over them until it blended together, starting with the light and working to the dark so that I didn't have to worry about ruining the colors. With this, same thing, make sure you get your edges, which will be really easy because you're going to have lots of little droplets dripping down the side. Just make sure to wipe off your paintbrush or stick it in some water before you do the edges so that it doesn't look all muddy and weird. It's really kind of a fun and cool pattern. With this one, again, I thought I recorded me taking the tape off, but apparently I forgot. So all you're going to do to take this tape off is once it's dried a little bit, go ahead and remove the tape. It is kind of difficult to do because the tape strips are so long, but just be careful and you'll get it. It's really a cool piece. With the other one, when I took the tape off, there wasn't quite as much messiness around the edges, but this one had a ton, but it ended up looking really cool, so I kept it. The other one, we're going to clean up those edges next. So to clean up those edges, I'm just taking a little bit of white paint and I'm taking it on a very flat, small brush just to make those edges a little bit cleaner. It doesn't have to be perfect, but if you have little blobs off to the side, you don't want those to show just because it is a clean chevron pattern. So just go ahead and clean those up and then we'll set that off to the side. Now it's on to the glitter. I've got some Mod Podge here and I'm just going to put the shape of an A in Mod Podge onto the canvas. Just trying to get it as nice and even as possible, centered as close as I can. It's not going to be perfect, but I don't really want it to be. So I'm just going to go ahead and make sure that my A looks as good as possible, and then I'm going to go in with the glitter. If you want, you should probably do this outside. I didn't, but you probably should because glitter's messy and it's kind of a pain to clean up. Once that's done, go ahead and just sprinkle the glitter across the entire thing, and you're going to bounce it around a little bit so that the glitter attaches to everything. I'm going to go ahead and do this on the other two canvases as well, one in the shape of a purse and the other in the shape of a high heel. Now, I ended up not liking these so much when I was done. So if you stay tuned a little bit later, towards the end of this video, I show you how I ended up changing them up a little bit afterwards when they didn't quite fit how I was wanting them to look. So keep watching and you'll see that in just a second.
So I did these last week and I was a little bummed at the way they turned out after a week later. So I wanted to come in and do something a little different with them. I just kind of wanted something a little more sophisticated in here because it doesn't really go with the rest of the room. So I went onto Pinterest and I found a couple of images that really inspired me, so I figured I should put those on here. So I printed them out 8.5 by 11 and then put them in a little paper protector. So here I have Audrey Hepburn, or Barbie version of Audrey Hepburn, and here I have Barbie version of Marilyn Monroe. So I've just put them in a little protector thing because I couldn't get my glossy paper for the printer to work. So I figured that would work. And I originally was going to glue it down, but I don't think the glue is going to stick. So I have little push pins that I'm going to put in, and then I'm going to glue the back side of the push pin to kind of hold it into place. So when I'm sure that it's where I want it, because there will be no moving it, I'm going to push this into the very corner of the paper. And I'm going to repeat that around all 4 edges.
Once I'm done with that, I'm just going to flip it over and glue the back of the push pins just to make sure that they don't pop out on their own.
There you go. They were super easy to make and super fun, and you could do any color scheme you wanted and just about any picture you wanted, anything really. I hope you guys have enjoyed this do-it-yourself project, and if you guys go ahead and do any of these, tweet me a picture at Real Lauren Renee so I can see what you guys have done. And if you're interested in seeing more DIY projects, then give me a big old thumbs up. I do have a bunch that I have to do, including making a bookshelf. So if you're interested in seeing that, I'm hoping that maybe over the next couple months I'll be able to get that going. Anyway, so I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys again next time. Bye!